everybody. Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us for anything and everything rock and roll. Of course, with a little bit of ADD. I'm Zach.
I'm TJ.
And I'm
that's
Robin.
Max Headroom.
And everything is all messed up on my end.
And you're listening to Rock Detention.
Hold, please.
Gentlemen, how are we doing?
We're getting there. Yeah, I am all Max Headroom over here. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Awesome.
So let's see what this does. I don't know what the heck went on. Like, I had this all fixed. And we're just going to do that for now, and I'm just going to look pasty white. And I'm going to figure the camera thing out. So.
This is great.
Are you going to switch over to your webcam?
Yeah, I'm going to switch over to my webcam because
Okay.
That's all I really can do right now.
I love it.
All right. Whoa. All right.
Looks good.
My
Looks good.
phone's on. There we go. I look pasty, and that's great.
You look like a big brown box.
Randy, you're technically not here yet, brother.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're not on screen yet.
Wait until we introduce
Good.
you.
Am I on audio?
Yeah, your audio's on.
Shit. Shh. I'm not talking. Nobody knows.
Welcome back.
You're good. That's hysterical. I'll wait. Oh man, TJ, what's going on, man? You catch me up in your life while
Wow.
Robin is figuring out his life. Ryan.
I don't know, man. My eyeliner's gonna run from the start of this, so I
Yeah.
might have to go retouch it up.
Absolutely, dude. Well, I'll catch you up with me and Robin's life when Robin's back on here because
here.
him and I have actually been. Well, we can't see ya.
You can't. They can. So,
They can.
Yeah.
Oh,
So.
So I'm gonna look at a brown paper bag.
Yep, you're gonna be
the entire night.
It's a guitar, thank you. I just flipped the camera up so you're seeing the bottom of my acoustic.
Okay. Well, it looks like a brown paper bag, but anyway.
You're a brown paper bag.
Gar, I don't like that I can't see.
I know it's weird.
Well, okay, TJ, catch us up, man. You've been traveling a lot.
yeah. I took a little break here, but I guess since we last talked, what?
It was before
Denver,
Christmas.
Denver, Vegas, Florida.
Wow, dude, no, you've traveled way. I have so many see you bye texts.
Yeah, that's just there and back though.
Late for so everyone understands. Whenever TJ travels, he always texts the group a video of it's Ace Ventura, right?
Jim Carrey,
It's
Cable
Jim,
Guy.
yeah, I was about to say that.
Cable guy, righteous, and the see you bye scene, and that's how we know when he's safely made it and when he's traveling. So thank you for that, TJ. We do appreciate you.
I try.
Absolutely. Well, Robin and I, we what was that? Last weekend before last?
3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks.
3 weeks already?
Yeah, technically, yes.
I don't think it's been
Technically,
3.
we're in the third week from it, so 2 weeks in a day.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting technical, Robin.
Time moves quick.
It's weird not seeing your face.
I know. I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure it out, but I don't think it's gonna work.
It's fine.
Our producer, ladies and gentlemen.
So he's doing great. He really is. Robin, we love you, brother.
Hey.
So Robin and I, we played a show. You probably saw on our social medias. We went to Florida a couple of weeks ago. Played with an artist, Mr. Aaron Ellis, and there we got to hang with the guests that we actually have tonight, Mr. Randy Cooke. We were also with 2 other previous guests, Daniel Knight and Dave Felice. Felice?
Felice.
What's-
Call the Felice.
Felice, call the Felice. That's right. So it was a blast, man. We were out there for 4 days, and yeah, it was absolutely fantastic.
I had a lot of fun.
Robin.
I had a lot of fun.
Good.
Still.
How's it going over there, buddy?
It's like talking to a rock.
I know, it's
Literally,
weird.
it's
It's par for the course, honestly, because it seems like everything is like kind of working lately, but then there'll always be that one piece of equipment that's just like, nah, we don't want to work today. I'm like,
Touche.
so we can get through the gig, but
Sure. Well, do you want to give an intro for our guest?
yes, as I look like a I look terrible. Like, if you go to YouTube right now, I look.
You look like a brown bag.
Robin the Rock. Robin the Rock.
So we're just gonna work with it. We're gonna go with it, guys. But our guest tonight is beyond. Like, it's how do you introduce someone with the credits that he has? How do you introduce someone who's just as cool as he is with the shit that he's done? And
I guess we're about to find out.
You know, he's played with everybody from Ringo Starr to Dave Stewart of the Eurythmics to Kelly Clarkson and one of our favorites on here, Honeymoon Suite. But he's a, you know, in my opinion, he's a living legend. So let's bring him on. This is our guest, Randy Cooke.
Oh, thank you guys.
Oh.
Am I now on like
You're on, but you're in TJ's spot because again, things don't want to work for me. So
Yes.
Yeah, you're just a brown rectangle.
yep, it's all good. We'll make it work.
That's what she said. Yeah.
How you doing, Randy? It's good to see you, brother.
Oh, good to see you, Zach. TJ, nice. Robin, sorta. Yeah, I saw you.
Well, I'm in Zach's
Little
spot
bit.
now. We'll get it.
I just put my square over Robin's square, so now I feel like I'm talking to myself. But
Hey,
anyway.
so the Kelly Clarkson credit is just recording. Just thought I'd say that.
Well, yeah, but
Oh,
you
Just thought I'd
but
throw that out there right out the gate.
But you
Just
you've,
recording.
Yeah, you've been on the recording. 5, you know. I should have said 5 for fighting. There you go.
5 for fighting, absolutely.
Kobe Calais.
Yes. Colby, for
Your
sure.
list goes on, and it's like frustrating how long your list is because I'm just like, there's so many questions.
It's literally 4 pages for
I
those
got
that
answers.
you want to know.
I got answers.
How did I
Well,
do this?
Robin had several. I mean, as did all of us, have some jaw dropping. You fixed it?
Yeah, well, no, I got the squares where everybody needs to go. So everybody is where their name is.
All right.
Oh, dude, I'd be honored to be under Randy's spot. Just put his name under mine.
Yeah.
Put me on
Switch
top
names.
of Randy. I don't care. Put him on top of me. I don't care.
That's what she said.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
think Natasha would be a little frustrated if.
I think she'd understand.
Okay, it's true. So.
Well, Robin, I think all of us have some jaw-dropping moments from reading this particular. You know what? Actually, before we get into the list, this episode is going to be unlike any other episode that we've ever done, because I do basically just want to go through the list.
I'm here.
You
Let's
know,
do it. Let's go through it.
But before we go there, let's do the typical hour interview in 2 minutes. You know,
All right.
when did you start drumming? Why did you start drumming? When did you start touring? That kind of stuff.
This is my turn now. Okay, so I was like practically born with drumsticks in my hand. My dad was a snare drummer in the Toronto Scottish pipe band, so there were drums and sticks lying around all the time. Interestingly enough, so I was like messing around with rudiments all the way up through my years until when I was about 12, I got into a drumming corps. I didn't want to wear a skirt, so I didn't want to join a pipe band. So I did one of those marching bands, sort of a junior marching band. And so again, it was utilizing rudiments and all that stuff. So my hands were really developing. And then I was a late starter. Like, you know, you think about all the things that kids have these days to start. You know, they got YouTube and like, you know, all of these social media outlets to learn an instrument. Whereas I didn't have that because it was the 1800s. So I didn't get my first drum set till I was 15. So I really didn't really, you know, I played on drum sets in band classes and stuff where you could just run up and go sit on a drum kit for 2 minutes before you got kicked off. But I got my first drum kit at 15, and that summer I started playing in my first band. It was a funk band called Phase 4, funk and reggae band. Yeah.
Righteous.
Yeah.
Wait, and that was at 15, you said?
15, yeah.
Right on.
Well,
I think
that's
it's
what
crazy that you were rudimenting at such an early age, because usually doesn't that start in like 8th grade in band?
Yeah, no, totally. I you know, I remember my dad teaching me like the long roll when I was like 6. Like, you know what I mean? I had that advantage for sure. Like, so I did start, you know, learning sort of hand stuff when I was super young. I wish that I had started drum kit when I was 6. Like some kids now, you go to NAMM and you see these kids walking around, and it's just mind blowing. You know, how
Absolutely.
advanced they are at such a young age, and you know, because they have all of this access to
Sure.
you know, not just instruments, but you know, sources for learning and stuff like that. Anyway, so neither here nor there. I started when I was 15.
Right. Well, and you come from a musical family.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
music was in your blood.
Yeah, it was absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And when did you start touring? At 15?
Right out of high school. Yeah, I mean, like I had the odd day job, you know, worked at a pizzeria to save for my first nice drum set. But really, I knew what I wanted to do when I was 12, 13, 14. I just knew it. I just wanted to be a musician. I wanted to play drums. You know, I had all the same aspirations that we all have. Whether I wanted to be in a band, I think at a younger age, you just want to be in a band. You don't think like at 13, you're like, I want to be a session guy. Like that's not even in,
Sure.
you know, on the palette. But yeah, I just wanted to play music. And interestingly enough, for the first easily 5, 6, 7 years of me playing drums, I only played funk and reggae. I was the only white kid in an all black funk band. So in Toronto, so I was you know, getting noticed for that. It was, you know, like unorthodox for me to be, you know, have this long hair and I looked like a rocker guy, but I was playing, you know, Kool and the Gang and Bob Marley, and you know, so it's my first love, my passion. Then because my hair got long, I got rock calls. So I already had, you know, the look was starting to catch up to the genres.
Who was your first big rock call?
Big rock call. Well, I think when I was 19, I got my drum teacher at the time, Rick Gratton, a brilliant Toronto guy. He recommended me for it wasn't rock, but I mean, it was a blues gig, and the guy's name was Long John Baldry. He was a very famous blues artist, British blues artist. And without sight unseen, no auditions, no nothing, I just got thrown into that gig. And then you know, I was touring Canada and the US with Long John Baldry. And then for rock, I mean, probably a really big rock artist in Canada, Lee Aaron. She's a metal artist. And then Rick Emmett from Triumph around that same time, 89, 90.
That's a good year, by the way.
Great year. Best year.
89.
You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, Rick had just left Triumph and was starting his solo career. And I was there right from the beginning. So I got to tour with them and record I recorded a bunch of records with him and stuff. Yeah, it was cool.
My God, dude.
Man.
And did you ever? When did you? I'm trying to word this. Is it safe to say that you are mainly a hired gun? Like you love playing with everybody?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
When did you? Did you always want to be a hired gun, or
No.
did you originally want to be with a big
wanted
band?
to be in a band. You know, I have an act now that I started with some buddies that live in Moscow actually. So I have a band, but it's really tough to do a local gig because all 3 of them are in Moscow. So
Shoot.
you know, as far as growing up and you know, the trajectory that I think that all of us, I think everybody that plays an instrument when they're young, that is the one goal that's in front of you. It's like, I want to be in a band, you know, where you're, you know, 3 Musketeers, 4 Musketeers. And so that never leaves you, you know, literally. I mean, just 3-4 years ago, I started in with my pals in Moscow, you know, and I still love the feeling of that. You know what I mean? I love the feeling of collaborating and you know, just the family sort of vibe, you know.
Was this all digital, or did you go over there and meet
No,
with them?
they came here. They've been here. They came here every year for at least 3 years. So they come here, they'd stay. We would do a showcase or 2. We would do a lot of recording, and
Right
now
on.
it's in, you know, yeah. So it's still a work in progress. It's like a studio band because we never toured. We didn't have like an opportunity yet, but it's super fucking cool. Like it's cool shit.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Do that.
we got our first question. Thanks, Tosh. How did you become a part of a band if the other members are in Russia?
Yeah, well, as I said, I actually was just hired as a gun to play on their first recording by the producer. And the producer, his name is Damon Elliott. He's the son of a very famous singer named Dionne Warwick.
Wow.
And he was producing, 5 or 6 tunes, and I just got hired to do the drums. And I met him in the studio in LA. And we became great friends and always kept in touch. So, you know how paths sort of cross and paths, go their own ways. They started looking at other producers and other people to work with. But I always kept in touch with them because I was like, I just loved the stuff that I played on. So eventually it was like, should we be a band? Should this be a band? We should be a band, right? Like, we shouldn't just hire you every time we come to LA. Let's make this a group effort. We want your input on the songs. We want to and so that's what happened. That's exactly. And so we're, now we're doing the best we can through FaceTimes and stuff to try and work on music and stuff like that. But you can tell that the challenges are there,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it can still happen, man.
That's how it happened. Yeah. That's how it happened. It's just it
it'll
started as a studio project.
A little less challenging than 20 years ago or so. So
yeah, at least we have this medium now that you can see someone's face, except Robin, and we can have these meetings. Just a big dark square now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I've tried everything, and
at least we got your initials now, buddy. That's better.
there you go.
Yeah,
it's there. Okay.
It was room.
Did that fix anything? No.
Oh, you're back.
Hey!
Oh my God, you're back. Oh, hey. Nice.
Wonderful.
What's up?
Oh, look how.
What's going on, everybody?
That was just a reveal for effect. He's like, everybody's like, I want to see Robin so bad.
Well, they've been able to see me. They've been able to see me the whole time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I'm not a black
turn
square
it
on
off
their
then.
thing.
Turn it back off then. That's fine. Yeah.
Robin, I've never missed you so much, dude. It is actually great to have you back.
Look how pale I am. Look at the difference in the cameras. Here you go, Randy. Here's another difference between the cameras.
This is Bush Lake.
Yeah. This is
Bush Lake?
Bush League.
Bush Lake.
I don't know what that means. Is that a Canadian thing?
Nope.
No.
Randy, do you want to explain it?
It just means it's he's in the minors. He's using subpar gear.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'm glad I have it. So
the minors. You're in the minors.
I'm in the minors. Wait.
Okay.
League-wise, I'm in the minors.
Yeah.
Nothing
you
else.
Are correct. You are
wow.
correct.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Gar, Steve. Okay.
Had you got any longer, bro, it would have been a Tenacious D song. Dude, I totally miss you.
Mm.
Is that a Tenacious D? A T-Knock song?
Yes.
This.
I haven't seen that movie in years.
Okay, so
Dave
you
Grohl's in it.
So to move this whole thing forward, you were raised in Canada.
Toronto.
You came to LA, and what was the first gig that you got that was like the breakout? That was like, okay, I'm actually like I'm.
Can I tell you
road.
the first gig that I had before any breakout gigs? Like, moved to LA. I was subbing in for a good friend who had a gig, and it was driving to Fullerton, which is beside Anaheim, from LA, which is about 45 minutes an hour, with a disco wig, playing disco songs in a bar that nobody gave a shit about, like listening to us. They were just more interested in what was on the TV and their wings. And me driving, on a Thursday night in the passenger seat, the big fluffy disco wig, and for $80.
What was the
I was
band
like,
called?
Yeah, LA. Oh, I can't.
Can't throw him under the bus like that.
I can't even remember. Not that I can't tell you. I can't remember.
This was
it Disco Inferno?
This was the 1970s.
I don't know.
This was the 1970s. He was only like 42 at the time.
I wish I would have had a real afro at that point. But anyway, so I came to LA. I didn't have unlike some fortunate people that get to move countries and have gigs waiting for them. I didn't have any of that. I just had friends that were from Canada already that moved here, and I did that thing where, okay, I'm here. I have a car, I have drums, I have a phone, and I have a couch, a friend's couch that I'm staying at. And very quickly, I found a house with roommates through Craigslist. I did that whole thing, and I just saved money and hoped that I could get a session or two or a live gig. And I just started doing little local live gigs in LA with whoever. I literally, you didn't, and
That's what you got to do.
Just slowly. I think one of the first gigs of notoriety was probably Fight for Fighting. And I did a bit of a little audition with the guitar player that I met had got me an audition, and I'd already been such a huge fan of John's stuff, and so I got that gig, and at the same time I started getting the odd session here and there, and so both helped each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first Kelly Clarkson thing that I did was because of two very super fantastic writers from Canada that are married, Chantal Krebiasek and Rain Maida. Rain, as you may or may not know, is the singer from Our Lady Peace.
Okay.
And so Rain and Chantal is a massive star in Canada and has a brilliant career here in the States as a writer. And so they were writing this song and producing these tunes for Kelly Clarkson and that's how the Canadian thing sort of comes into play. And so those things sort of domino, you get to do on one thing, somebody hears you, you get recommended and blah, 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 it's sort of like that. That's,
Okay, so we have another question from, and don't shoot me if I get this name wrong, if I pronounce this wrong. Emmett Lintalucci? I hope I got that right. He says, tell us about your favorite artist studio session and what made it great.
Favorite session. Wow. Oh my God. Like there have been, I think, can I say a couple?
Yeah.
One of them was Melissa Etheridge. It was with an amazing Canadian producer that got me on, John, that got me on the gig, and it was amazing because why? Like I'm sitting around and Melissa's in the control room and giving me her 2 cents and they'd set up a bunch of guitar amps for her to play if she wanted to go out onto the floor and play, but she just was like, oh, this is all sounding great, it's all working out great, I'm just gonna like hang out on the sofa in the control room, and so we just got to hang out for a couple of days. That was a cool session. I think another bucket list session was recording an entire Dave Stewart CD, Dave from the Eurythmics. We did an entire CD on one of the largest super yachts in the world that was owned by Paul Allen, the co-founder of Microsoft. And he had a studio on his ship called the Octopus. And we did a song a day for 10 days. And, we're talking, a ship that's got a submarine inside the bottom of the ship. It's got a 12 passenger submersible.
Did you get to check it out?
Yeah, we did.
Did you get to
You
ride
went
on
under
it?
the seat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did. We went for a little ride. Yeah.
And you actually slept on the ship for 10 days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, this is, you do sessions that are just like, I can't believe, this is.
Put that
what
down
is
on
this?
my bucket list.
This is crazy. Yeah. Some of the, Dave Stewart is famous for that, for creating situations that are just otherworldly, So anyway, so that was a cool session. I think, doing a session for a ballad for Natasha Bedingfield's CD where she was there. I always like it when I get to meet that artist or hang out with that person, because that obviously is the touch. I mean, probably the last one that I remember is 3 days of demos with Mick Jagger, and that was super cool. Driving out to Tarzana, and you've got Michael Bradford, who played bass in Kid Rock's band, and he's a co-writer, and Dave Stewart is writing these songs with Mick, and it's like, yeah, hey, do you want to come out for 3 days and do some demos? I'm like, yeah, that'd be insanity. And so sessions like that were, I remember Mick had just got his first iPhone. I'll never forget being in this and him going, he couldn't remember how to like get to a certain screen or work something, and me showing him for a quick second how to navigate somewhere. I was like, yeah, dude, like it's cool. And and everybody was super chill, and but it never escapes me. Trust me, I'll be completely honest with you. It never escapes me who I'm in a room with. Like I'm freaking out too. I'm not, I still freak out. I still get a little nervous in certain situations, but it's because I'm excited to be there. I'm super crazy excited to be there. That never has gotten light for me. I still love all that stuff. So those are some cool sessions.
Were you nervous in Florida? I know Zach has that. Zach has that effect on people.
I was nervous just to meet Zach. Playing not so much, but yeah, I mean, I heard so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That seriously was probably one of the most surreal and like coolest gigs to do.
It's crazy, right?
Because everybody else was on their instrument. David was on bass.
Yeah.
Zach and Daniel were on guitar. You were on drums. I was on keys.
Yeah, and you're a drummer, guitar player, bass player. I know. Everybody, Robin's one of those annoying multi-instrumentalists that's great at every instrument and is completely self-sufficient and doesn't need anybody. There, I just said it.
If you went back and listened, if you went back and listened to, like, if we recorded Runaway, you'd be talking different. I like, one of the things that's so difficult for me with keyboards is because I'm not used to having all the notes. I mean, yeah, we play guitar, but I have a little bit more space. I kept like snagging other keys, so you get this flamp.
It's those stubby fingers on you, man.
I know.
Yeah, it's true. True.
Not to backtrack, but for those of you who don't know, a demo, when you do demos for people, you may never meet the artist, correct?
Absolutely, and a lot of people on that list are exactly like that. I've never met Kelly. I've never met Hilary Duff. I've never met. I met Jesse McCartney once in a club in LA and tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, I'm Randy." He was like, "Hi, I'm Jesse." I said, "I did 4 tracks on your first
awesome.
record." He's like, "Oh, cool." Like, I can't blame him. He's never.
Sure.
He didn't come to the studio, but it was still fun to finally meet someone
Absolutely.
in person.
Yeah. I just want everyone to know that
a lot of that, and this is where we're at now. Even before the pandemic, a lot of guys started doing remote sessions, and so it's amazing. You can just email files to somebody.
Sure.
If they're in a studio, they play their thing and ship off it goes, and they do their thing. And whether that song sees the light of day or not is really never up to you, and you just sort of keep trudging along, and some end up in really cool places, and some never get heard by anybody.
Has there ever been? Well, I'm sure the answer is yes, but has there ever been a song that you just knew was going to be a smash and it never saw the light of day?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And that, the reasoning behind that is there's zero, just like on the other side, there's no reason that a song does become like, there's no one template, right? Sure. So it goes both ways. You think, man, this is such great. This artist is brilliant. The song's clearly got crazy hooks. What's happening? It can be just a slew of other planetary non-alignment things and the opposite, where you go, how did that song? It's a great song, but how did it get there? It's like, oh well, so and so's playing golf with that guy, and then they went for a day, and then you just never know how things, it doesn't. There's no guarantee, right, that a great song or a great band or singer is just going to be guaranteed that kind of success. I wish it were like that, but it's not like that.
Sure.
I'm sure there are artists like canvas artists that are just brilliant that we'll just never know. So.
And I'm sure you've recorded on many songs that you thought were just absolute trash, and then you heard on the radio next week. Has that happened?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, listen, you're helping. The good thing is that with 100% honesty, I can tell you that I've never got into playing a session or a live gig or anything like that not giving it 100,000 million %.
Well,
even if I don't think the music's that good, or I may not even be a complete fan of the genre, like You know what I mean? So yeah, for sure. There's stuff where I play it and I go like, yeah, that's not gonna go anywhere. Like, you know, I just, you know, it's my opinion, but obviously, you know, we all have those opinions, and sometimes we're wrong. Just like you said, you know, I'm sure there are songs on the radio that you go, what is up with that? Like, how did that ever happen? But that is such a
day,
right?
Every day.
But how subjective is it though? That's the beautiful
totally
thing
subjective.
about music.
Sure.
It's so super subjective, and it's an art form, and off we go. On you know, on we go. You know what I mean? Like
art is we can sit here all day and write a song and think it's the greatest thing in the world, and we can think that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, our opinion about our own artwork does not matter.
For sure.
For sure. It is only considered worth something the second other people go, oh, I like this. You know?
But isn't it cool though that and crucial that the person that's creating it is loves it and
yes.
like job well done, right? It doesn't matter like if I sit back and write some silly poem and put 3 chords to it and it could be dog poop, but it doesn't matter. If I wrote it about something that means something to me, it mattered that I put it into the universe and it's out there.
Yes.
Whatever.
And so
someone likes it.
You know. I don't want to deal in like an absolute, you know. I'm not saying that like just because I like my song doesn't mean it's not worth anything, but
I get it.
Yeah.
No, but for sure.
On
So,
that
yeah,
note, guys, I think we should make this episode an NFT.
anyways, man, I just had a really in-depth conversation with a friend of mine about NFTs, and I finally like somewhat understand what NFT is.
I know what it is. I just don't understand it.
It's we'll have to get into a conversation because it's not like it's not
another one. That's another.
Yeah, it's not a short answer.
A whole nother.
Yeah.
Conversation.
And that's the thing.
That's going to be part 4 of this episode, brother.
I think that's the thing that bugs me about those is you can't just give a short answer of like this is an NFT.
Well, dude, it's a picture, right?
No, it's
and then
not a picture.
Every time you sell it, you get 20%.
It's
digital.
A digital image.
It's not though. It's not just a digital image. It could be.
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's the answer to what.
Welcome
it is.
to stock detention. It's stock detention.
Right. Well, it's not even just stock. Anyways, I could go down a rabbit hole. Like,
we're right over his head.
Thanks for having me on the show. Bye.
Hey, quick on the note of not knowing when your song's gonna make it or not knowing stuff. I don't know if you guys have watched, whether you hate it or love it or haven't seen it, The Peacemaker on HBO Max.
Oh, John Cena's thing.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of my favorite like sleaze metal, hair metal bands keeping the vibe alive over in Sweden and Finland and stuff. All of a sudden it got their shot. James Gunn's been putting in Reckless Love, The Cruel Intentions, Santa Cruz.
Now I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, Wigwam was dead, and that's the intro like song. They weren't dead, but like their label dropped them, and then right after the show came out, everyone's like, "Oh, by the way, you guys want to do some shows or what's going on?"
But see how brilliant is that now there's a completely other landscape or a medium that bands can get their music heard. Like some bands now get their start that way. You know, kids online are like, I heard 30 seconds on my favorite TV show, and they're rabid. They just search out who that is.
Yeah.
And so even though you're talking about a band who's already established and kind of like it kind of flattened out a little bit, and bam, you know. And same with songwriting, right? Robin, you guys know that whatever you've written, it's in the universe, it's there forever, and it can make a reappearance. You never know why or where or how, you know, all that shit, you know.
So speaking of songwriting, I think this would be a good segue. You've worked with one of my favorite songwriters, Colin Hay. And so I want to hear all about the Colin, because you said you had some stories and stuff.
I have some stories, but you know, I was just basically subbing in for a really good drummer pal who it was kind of his gig, and I subbed in at first for a tour in South America, and which is crazy because on the tour booklet, you know, they call it the Book of Lies, right? That's what the nickname for any pre-touring, like before you go out, someone sends you a PDF of like 20 pages every day. It says where you're going to be and the hotel name and the venue and what time you're on. And they call it the Book of Lies. And here's a brilliant example of that. Every page of every date said 11 p.m. showtime, right? Well, sometimes there'd be 3 or 4 gigs in a row. The show times were actually 4:30 a.m., 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m., and the flight to the next town was 6:30 a.m. or 7 a.m. So we would completely soaking wet from stage, get into a van and change in the airport bathroom into dry clothing to get on a plane to get to the next city. And it was super exhausting. You never saw more grumpy dudes, trying.
Awful.
Yeah, I mean, it was brilliant because Colin was headlining these tours. So the headliner, the festivals out in South America sometimes don't start till midnight.
What? Why?
So, and the headliner is going to go on at 3 or 4 because they go till 6. They go to sunrise, right? And
where is this again?
South America, like Brazil or, Sao Paulo.
So they party all night.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah. And they don't even go out, like, people don't even go out till midnight in a lot of places in Europe. So that said, it said 11 p.m. and then you're like, what? At sound check, you find out you're not on. And there you go. There's ZZ Top. ZZ Top.
So I have this binder. Canadians. I don't know where I got this, but this is ZZ Top's Antenna World Tour. And it is literally like, it's got like all the calendars and everything.
Oh, sweet.
Of like all their stuff that they did for the whole tour.
There you have it.
So this is a book of lies.
Yeah, and some of that will be accurate, and some won't be at all.
That's interesting.
So there was that facet to the tour. I will tell you it needs to be known that Colin is not only a gifted, brilliant singer-songwriter, but like his, you'd be playing the hits, right? The Men at Work hits. But then when he'd play his solo stuff, and Robin's a fan of his solo stuff, I know for sure. There'd just be girls crying, just bawling their heads off in the front row. Like, he's got a couple of tunes that just like, he's got that scratchy kind of thick voice, and he starts, playing a ballad on guitar, and just, people just lose it. And in between tunes, live, he's one of the funniest guys I've ever played with. Like, stand-up comedian level funny between his banter between songs. He's got that Scottish accent, and he talks about the first time he's walking down in Beverly Hills down Sunset Boulevard, and he sees a guy dressed up like Batman. To hear him talk about that in his Scottish accent is unreal funny. I'm not even going to try and do it.
I was going to say, can you do a Scottish accent for us?
No, no, it's fun. I did, however, once as we were all walking after soundcheck to go get something to eat, I got him to unknowingly say "Hunt for Red October." And he did, like I said to the guys that watch, I'm going to try and get him to say, and he didn't really remember the name of the movie at the time, so I got him to say "Hunt for Red October," just the way Sean Connery said Hunter, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Of course he had a good laugh, but yeah. So, and I, eventually I got to record a couple of tracks on one of his solo CDs at his amazing studio in Topanga Canyon here in California.
Love Topanga Canyon.
Oh, it's great. He's got a beautiful home and a beautiful studio at that house. And so.
Where is Topanga Canyon in relevance to, Los Angeles proper, like Hollywood?
It's west. So if you're right at the crossroads of the 405 and the 101, which is like the center, you've got Hollywood on one side and the valley on the other, right?
Okay. If
you sort of kind of head towards the ocean, but then parallel to it, you're heading west, and it's out there. It's out by Westlake Village and
Woodland Hills.
And a bunch of places. Woodland Hills, which is where I do all my session work out of a studio in Woodland Hills.
I used to live in Woodland Hills.
It's out that. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
If you're looking on a map and you find Woodland Hills, it's right below it.
Okay. Where do you live?
I'm in Sherman Oaks in the Valley. Yeah.
Okay. Your exact address and zip code.
Phone number, date of birth,
box.
credit card number.
P.O. box.
Smart man.
Dude, I don't know, man. You know, Robin and we tried the whole LA thing. Yes, Robin made it longer than I did. You don't need to tell her story.
Have we ever told this story? Have we ever told
yes,
how you abandoned me in LA?
Okay, you know exactly what I'd say if we were off air right now. Anyway.
Starts with an F and ends with a U.
Say it.
So
Tell him to F off.
So to Zach's
Gosh, we're going there.
No, to Zach's credit, the only reason that I made it as long as I did is because I had a decent place to live, and it didn't get sour until about 5 months into me living there.
Right.
His situation got sour pretty fast, and
right.
As people from Texas, like, LA is very different for us because we come from a city where it's like, oh, you play music, I play music, we should hang out, man. And it's like when you were our age, like when you're 21, 22 years old and you move to a new city and you move to some place like LA, it's almost a competition for the young guys. And we're just...
Is there some truth to that? Would you agree with that, Randy?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, fundamentally, you're moving to a city with way more people, and way more musicians, and way more competition. So it stands to reason that that's a given. That's just going to happen. Go to New York, same thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
like
I would.
London,
New York wasn't even on my radar because I knew I couldn't mentally handle that. Like, but
Dude, it freaks me out the thought of living in New York.
I would love. I would love to spend a.
I would love it. Actually,
I would love to.
I just not in the winter.
Yeah, I'd love to spend a long period. I'd love to spend like summer and fall in New York, and then that's it. Like, I want to go home.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, there were moments in LA that I absolutely just will never forget, and like shaped
and never remember as well.
Actually, no, I remember. I didn't get into that much trouble when I was out there. I did spend the night in my car in Compton, but that's because I wasn't paying attention.
Sounds like a great idea.
Bad boys.
So, but yeah, it's funny, like. And I think, Zach, you can say the same thing to this. It's like all the people that we should have known when we were in LA, we met after we left.
Touche. And to 100%, like, straight up, if I had a gig to go to in LA, or even like a cool side gig to go to, I think that I was so young. We were so young, dude. What were we, 21, 22 when we went out there?
I turned 24 in LA.
Nice.
Okay.
So we went out there in no, I'm sorry. I turned 23 in LA.
I was about to say, dude, because I was 24 in Las Vegas.
I turned 23 in LA because I had left straight music, and it was 2012. So I turned 23.
Right on. Well, we were young, dude, is the point I'm trying to make.
Nice.
And I'd give it another shot.
No.
You know, especially knowing who I know now and what I know now.
Sure.
I mean, I had never toured when we moved out there. You know, I've done quite a few things since then.
I had done a few road gigs. Nothing. Like, let me rephrase. I'd done tours, but never anything longer than like 3 weeks. Like, that was the longest I'd done.
That's it.
And I was like you, Randy. I wanted to go out there. I wanted to join a band. Like, I didn't want to be a hired gun.
Sure.
I wanted to join a band.
Yeah.
And so I did. And that band only rehearsed. They never played shows.
Right. And this is the.
And they're fantastic. Like, they're still.
This is the gamble.
It's still like a crowning achievement on my resume of like,
Absolutely.
I recorded with these, this band. And but yeah, they never toured. They never played a live
and then
show.
fast forward 4 or 5 years, and I did a show with them with Adelita's Way.
Yeah, you
Remember
were playing
that?
with Adelita's Way, and they opened for you. Yeah, that was
Small world.
yeah. No,
Anyway.
smaller world is that my dad produced the lead singer of that band's dad's first like demo
Wow.
tapes in Austin in like the
Wow.
70s that we still had the masters for in my parents'
that's
garage.
sweet.
So that was
That's
cool.
so
I got to
sweet.
give those to her and be like, here you go. So,
Nice.
That's really neat. I like that.
but anyways,
Yeah.
Well,
we've digressed.
dude, do you want to start blowing through the list?
I'm ready.
You could-
I'm ready. You can go ahead. Shotgun. Go.
Well, I mean, I have the ones that I particularly. Do you just want to go that way?
I mean,
Or do you just want to go list by list?
I would just say, like, just start asking questions, man.
You can just ask me.
Fuck one,
Just
kill
ask
one,
me.
marry
Okay, well,
one. Go.
then I'm gonna.
On your entire list, Randy. Fuck, kill, marry. One of, like,
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
I'm
You went
so
too far,
sorry,
Robin.
Randy.
You went
These are
too
my
far.
friends.
FKM.
I'm gonna start with one of my heroes. What's your involvement with Nuno Betancourt? He's one of my favorite guitar players of all time.
Nuno, recently I got recommended to work with an artist that he was producing, and do a couple of demos and a couple of live showcases for this girl.
Can we say the artist or no?
Killer singer? Not yet.
Okay.
And so he was sort of just kind of MDing and producing the live thing, and then a couple of times after these shows, he would sometimes play on those shows with us or not. You know what I mean? He'd either be in, on the sidelines, kind of directing everything, and then sometimes he would play the gig with us, and I will tell you, just other than the fact that he's a super cool, chill, red guy, one of his parties, a Halloween party, I ended up playing a Stevie Wonder tune with Steve Lukather, Steve Vai, Nuno Betancourt, all three of them standing, soloing together.
This is wonderful. I'm not mad at all.
Just great, right?
Oh,
yeah. Richie Kotzen's wife on bass, she's fabulous. These. Okay, so these are the things that don't happen, where I grew up. Like, so that, this is the reason why I went to, I wanted to move to LA. I wanted to be able to rub shoulders. There was no guarantee that it was going to happen, any of that kind of stuff. But if it was going to happen, it's going to happen here.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. Now, is the music scene in LA still hopping? Is it like rock and roll in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. All in parallel, in percentages, though, right? Because, the P word, the pandemic hit and just shut down venues, shut down touring and all that stuff. So the less venues there are, obviously, the less live playing, and just due to the pandemic, the less live playing period, just because of the safety factor. Okay. But even prior to that, there's still a massive Sunset Strip scene. You know what I mean?
Really?
All the stuff. Oh, for sure. You've got the clubs like the Whiskey, and are just thriving. With original bands. You can go 2-3 nights a week there and see 4 different acts a night. You know what I mean?
Is there a cover at those places?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What? Just curious. What's a cover on an average night or like originals?
Not bad. Maybe $10. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Never crazy. It's not crazy. Yeah. And you think about if you're going to go see 3 or 4 bands, my God, like that's not only well worth it, but it's undervalued. Really.
Will the bands see any of that money or no?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way that sometimes the way that the promoters work is that you've heard things like oh, in LA it's pay to play.
Sure.
It's not that a band pays a bunch of money, like here's $500 I want to go. What they do is they do a thing with a ticket system where they go, okay, look, buy the tickets up front for $5 a ticket. You can sell them for whatever you want. You want to sell them for $5 and break even? Go. You want to sell them for $10? It's up to you. If you buy 200 tickets from us at $5, right? You're going to spend $1,000, and then you can go make your $1,000 back if you go and hustle and sell those tickets. We're still going to sell admission to the door, which you'll get a part of after a certain amount. So they work out deals where after the first 50 people, you're going to get this much or half the money or what. So it kind of goes like that. Man. So there's ways around it. If a band has has really marketed themselves well and pushed themselves on social media and really gone out there and hit the ground. Like, yeah, they're gonna, those bands make money. Those original bands start to develop a following, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's nice to see.
Man, I'd love to come out to LA for a week and hang with all you guys.
Let's do it.
Do you frequent? Like, do you ever go to the Strip?
Of course, yeah. I was going to say another really cool place is across the street from the Whiskey is the Viper Room, which is a smaller room, but man, I've seen some amazing, like, you're just like stunned, like, who is this band? Where are they from? Like, and it's funny how things can groundswell out of a performance or a couple of live gigs for certain bands, like they really can. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And does the whole quintessential, record labels and producers and execs, are they still hitting those shows up?
It's harder nowadays. I think nowadays we've gone so digital and so social media marketing based that now they know that they're pretty much can be comfy in their own living room and have and go on to Instagram or go on to YouTube. You know what I mean? So in essence, the mechanisms are still happening, but it's just not that guy in the suit with a cigar in the back of the room anymore. You know what I mean? It's
I would
not
love
so
that.
much that, it
That
happens just way
Sure.
less frequently, right?
That would be a dream come true. If I played at the Whiskey A Go Go and some dude in a suit
smoking a cigar.
Your band is good.
Yeah.
I don't know what accent he has.
Wow, he was just European. Wow, that was a European dude. I love it.
Europeans pay
Gosh.
better anyways.
Gosh, Steve. Okay, well,
Speaking of the Strip, you see Steel Panthers playing like the 50th anniversary of the Rainbow?
Woo! Oh my God, I've been to so many Steel Panther shows.
We should
It's
go.
unbelievable. So
when
good.
is it?
It's in April or something, like a parking lot bash or something.
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
they'd have to do it in a parking lot. They can't do it. Like the club inside the Rainbow on the second
Yeah.
floor is tiny. They wouldn't be able to do it there.
Randy,
Yeah.
you want to go?
I'll go. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. What date? You give me the date. We'll figure it
I
out.
think Santa Cruz was hopping over across the pond for a show at the Whiskey, but it's like during the week, so I don't think I'm gonna make that one.
Right.
Okay, well, I've said my first one on the list. TJ, you go.
On the spot. Now he's on the spot. Like, pick anybody.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna steal Thunder. Like Honeymoon Suite. What was that like? When did you play with them?
Honeymoon Suite.
Because Robin, I have to take this one. Because
take it.
I told you about Honeymoon Suite. I told you.
I've got one that I want to mention.
Who is
so.
this?
I'm amazed that I'm always amazed where I know that a bunch of bands that are huge in Canada don't always make it across the border in terms of their popularity, or they don't even sometimes get releases in America. So I'm always giddy when someone mentions an act that I think I don't know how far their reach is across the border. And Honeymoon Suite, those guys are fucking amazing. They're darlings. And I eons ago, I know I recorded one CD for them, and I know I did a couple of shows promoting those recordings. And I just grew up in Toronto playing in all these bands, and they were just on the circuit with every, they were like, if we were doing a festival, it'd be like Honeymoon Suite and Atlanta Miles and Sash Jordan and Rick Emmett and, Kim Mitchell. Like there'd be like these quintessential acts of notoriety, and Honeymoon Suite was one of them. And so we all end up just like any music circle. You end up knowing all the musicians in the band, and then someone says, "Hey, you should record something. We should get you on a track. We're working on these demos. Who knows what's going to happen?" And so that's how I ended up sort of playing a couple things with those guys and recording with them. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I mean,
we still keep in touch online. So really, really sweet.
Hell yeah. A lot of people, like, if you play New Girl now, everyone's like, "Oh, I know this song," but they couldn't name the artist for the most part.
Right? Yeah.
But I love all our like deep cuts. And
what a great song, man! Oh my God.
I still think my favorite is "Feel It Again."
Oh,
Great song.
amazing.
Well, and then I mean, they were in Lethal Weapon too. Like they had like the lead
Lethal
song
Weapon.
in Lethal Weapon. Like literally, like
Yeah,
that was a
dude.
song.
Yeah,
Like
they did.
they had some hits. And they got so many good songs.
Woo! Canadian, yeah.
And what was it? Is Red Rider Canadian too?
Yep.
Do you remember
Yeah,
that
Tom
band?
Cochran.
Yep,
Absolutely. Yeah. Life
Yep.
is a Highway. That.
At
Yeah.
Lunatic Fringe.
Oh, dude, what a brilliant CD.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy good. Ian Thornley, Big Wreck, another guy that I got to play with a few years back here in LA, was for NAMM. And I I have, thank God they had a really great video crew and an audio recording crew, and there's a bunch of that shit online. It sounds so good. He's so good. I can't say enough about that guy. That's so good. Great writer, great singer.
Yes.
Stellar singer.
Stellar.
Writer.
Like it was one of those things where like
stupid great guitar player. Yeah.
He's both a great guitar player and a singer, and it's one of those where
I know. Yeah. It's pretty impressive. That's for sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right.
I've got two.
All right.
Two. Way to take over, bro.
First and foremost,
greedy.
I want to know about Ringo Starr. But second,
nice.
I also want to know what it was like to play on stage with Jeff Healey.
Oh my God. God bless him. Jeff, the funniest dude, like killer sense of humor. He would call me up and, hey, dirty, rotten, skinny. I was like super skinny, long hair. Like, we would just like tear each other apart on the phone before a gig or something like that. And he was always super sweet. And my first memory of Jeff was playing a little club. I used to do a jam on Sunday nights at a club right by where I lived. And it was with a guy named Tony Springer, who also did tribute to Jimi Hendrix, which was one of my first gigs that I ever flew on an airplane to play. And so we're doing this jam, and Jeff comes in, and Jeff used to come in every Sunday because he loved Tony, because Tony was like, could really rip all of Hendrix's stuff, sounded like him as a singer, could play all the Hendrix stuff amazing. And Jeff loved Jimi Hendrix. And so he'd sit there, and then it was a jam. So eventually Jeff would get up, and Tony was a guitar player. So he'd grab a bass, Jeff would grab a guitar, and Tony be playing the bass upside down, right? The E strings on the top, and okay. So he's playing bass, and with one hand, Jeff would get excited. He'd start sitting down, playing on his lap, and he'd get excited, and he'd stand up, and as he does, and he'd hold the guitar against his chest, and he'd start playing, and he was so into it. Tony would have to grab him by the back of the belt loop, because the stage was a couple of feet high. And Jeff would start to inch his way to the edge. And Tony's trying to play bass with one hand and hold Jeff by the back of the pants. These are cherished memories of Jeff. I mean, he's, I can't say no. He's sorely missed, and always remembered. So,
for those of you that
Jeff,
don't know, if you're kind of scratching your head going, Jeff Healey, that name sounds really familiar. I believe it's Roadhouse, right?
Roadhouse.
It's right. He is the guitar player that's in the wheelchair playing the guitar in his lap.
So good.
Phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah, he's incredible. And Ringo is, I got to do a bunch of, maybe 3-4 months in a row of promotional gigs where we played double drummers for a couple of tunes, and then Ringo would go to the front of the stage and sing a couple of tunes. He was promoting a CD called Liverpool 8, and the reason I had that gig was because Dave Stewart had co-written that record with him, and I was already in Dave's band. And so Dave kind of, was like, you want to go and promote this CD we just wrote? Why don't you just use my band? Ringo always has and still does have his all-star band. Brilliant. And Colin, by the way, has played in that band. But we got to get that call like, hey, Ringo's got to play like a shit ton of TV shows and do these like crazy, massive shows in Liverpool and London. We're gonna be the band. I was like, wow, okay, that's amazing. Like the first time, I ever talked to Ringo was just Dave. Dave and I were in the studio in the Valley, and I was doing something for Dave. And we're just hanging out, just the two of us. And he just hands me the phone. He says, someone wants to say hi to you. And Ringo was on the other end. This was before the gig was starting, and easy to be dumbfounded and tongue-tied and dumbstruck. It's like, wow, it's amazing to virtually meet you, and I can't wait to see you play with you. Like, what the fuck? He's such a sweetheart guy. He's like got that cheeky sense of humor, the dry sense of humor, and like he was really sweet on the phone and continued to be when we met. We met on stage in London.
On stage.
On stage at Soundcheck.
Okay. I was like, wait, you walked on stage and played a gig, and that's the first time you met him?
Well, it's at Soundcheck. It was crazy. Like walking on stage, and there's my kit, and there's his kit. Like, oh fuck, you know. But I hadn't played with him until Soundcheck, like double drummers, and you have to worry about shit like that. Like when two guitar players is one thing, but drums, man, when there's two kick drums and two snare drums, got to worry about a bunch of other shit. You know what I mean?
But like,
and so
correct me if I'm wrong. I remember, so I went randomly in Kerrville, Texas. I went and saw a clinic with Greg Bissonette. Right. And what's again another small world. My drum teacher that I grew up with, Steve Samuels, he and Greg Bissonette met out in L.A. when they were auditioning for the same band. Wow. A band called the Pinups, I believe. Right. And so
awesome.
But I remember
Greg is a fucking ninja. He's a badass.
Amazing drummer. Yeah. But I remember him saying that, the first time he sat down and played with Ringo, it was just easy. Both he and Ringo just sank in and were like, all right, we're right here.
And that was my experience as well. I was going to worry about the things like, are we going to flam? Is it going to be like, brr, 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 like what's my time going to be like? What's his time going to be? What's our time going to make together? But really, he made it super easy. Like I just played along, and when he starts, he's got an internal clock that's like smack dab on. Like he doesn't speed up like crazy or slow down. Like he just has this beautiful kind of like pop. When he starts a tune, it just stays there. And when it's like that, it's easy to play to. It's like playing to a guy. Like he has this beautiful feel that still has tons of human to it, but doesn't go. So it would be insane to follow. Right? It's like two people dancing, one's going to lead, one's going to follow. And if the guy that's leading, is on his game, like it was really easy, just like Greg said, I mean, Greg has way more experience at playing with Ringo than I do, but I can second that for sure. Like super, super easy to play to. And I think he felt it too. It was cool. There were a couple of moments where, he was super complimentary, and I'll take those bucket list, those gigs to the grave. It was brilliant. It's like awesome. One of the gigs we did in Liverpool was to 80,000 people. In Liverpool that year was called City of Culture. The European City of Culture. They pick a European city every year to be the capital of culture, and they do all these festivities and all this stuff. And their Liverpool was the City of Culture that year, and Ringo had an album called Liverpool 8, and he's from Liverpool.
Yeah.
So
there
we were, and we played on a roof.
There's a video
overlooking.
I think you posted the video on Instagram is where I saw it, of you playing with him, and he's singing some song about Liverpool.
Yes, that's it. That was the single from that that CD. Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. Actually, that song lyrically is a story about his life.
Okay. Yeah. I need to go listen to the whole song. I only watched the video.
Each verse, it goes for the sections of his.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So speaking of Liverpool and Ringo and subsequently the Beatles, you have played for some Beatles.
You mean in the audience?
Yes, them sitting. You have played their songs to them.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. We got to do. The Eurythmics had reunited for Annie and Dave had reunited for the Beatles' 50th anniversary, and there were all sorts of shows going on, right? In different places in the world, and in Los Angeles, they did a thing, a televised thing. And the Grammys presents the Beatles' 50th anniversary, and there was tons of bands doing one song or two songs.
Is that the one where Ed Sheeran did a song?
Yeah.
That was incredible.
It was really good. It was super.
And then
amazing.
The Beatles got up at the end and played, or Paul.
Yeah.
And they did the Happy Birthday song, right? So because it was on
It's really
January,
good.
it was on January 27th of that year, which is my mom's birthday, and it was like the best. She was there in the audience.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like looking out at the front row and seeing Paul and Ringo, like it's super intimidating.
Oh yeah.
And Annie was so graceful and just a superstar. Like, in rehearsals she came in and like just crushed her vocal. We did Fool on the Hill.
Yes.
That song Fool on the Hill, and
So good.
we had a small orchestra, and it was just crazy.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
Dave Stewart
so-
and Annie Lennox. They get what they want.
We all use in-ear monitors now, right? When we're playing live and stuff like that. And I remember in rehearsal, I had my own mixer, so I have stems sent to my mixer. So I have just vocals alone, just drums, just bass, guitar, and I could turn up and down whatever I wanted, and I could actually solo Annie singing because the first part of the song I didn't play. So I could literally just turn with a fader, turn her vocal up, and and just listen to her voice straight in my ear holes, and it's unbelievable. Like there aren't many times like that in your life where you're like, shit, Annie Lennox's voice is right here, and she's standing right there. Yeah. So it's amazing. It's super grateful to be a part of all that.
It sounds. I had I couldn't turn the voice up. But I got to play a show with Mary Wilson from the Supremes.
Oh man!
And there was a point we started into one of the songs, and I literally turned to the bass player, and it finally hit me what we're doing and who I'm playing with. And I turned to the bass player. I was like, "Do not let me stop."
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I was playing with Rick Emmett once in Buffalo at the Trough, and it was a Rick Emmett show, and we were doing. Rick at that point had his rock record. He also had smooth jazz record, so we were doing tunes that spanned both those genres. And in walks George Benson with his whole entourage, and so George he got up and played, and we did Broadway with George. So imagine starting that go. And looking over and just it's super surreal,
Yeah, because these are people who we grew up listening to.
Yeah,
I remember being
totally had the record.
3 years old in the car, and Baby Love comes on. And it's like the Supremes, and I'm just like, yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
it's crazy stuff. And
yeah.
I did a session with Alan Parsons.
Wow,
and
that's so cool.
Was it the Alan Parsons project?
No. So Alan does these cool things. We could have gone. I didn't know this until later, but we could have gone. Alan, so I'll get to that. So he does these things where he tours. He goes around the world and he'll give master classes in engineering and stuff. And so I was playing in a band called Alpha Rev at the time, and we were the band that was used in the master class. And so he comes in, and what he does is he lines them up with his tour dates. So he'll do the Alan Parsons project, and then he'll get to a major city like Nashville or Austin or LA or something, and he'll go, okay, I think I can do a master class, at this studio.
Sure.
And again, just this, why are Brits so nice? He only really ever said, he only said like two things to me the entire time. It's like. But he's just so nice about it.
Right.
So
nice. Well, what a great memory.
Oh, it's again like yours. I'll take them to my grave. Like their memories.
For sure.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So I don't want to take and I don't want you to call anybody out if you don't feel like it. But was there ever a moment where you were playing a session and you said you always give 110% in your sessions, but was there ever a session where you were like, man, I wish I had an eject button on this thing?
Yeah, it wasn't a session, actually. It was a live gig, and I won't mention any names because it's a super famous human.
Yeah.
And I was booked for 3 days rehearsal. It's probably the only time that ever happened to me, but I was booked for 3 days rehearsal and a bunch of shows. And I think it was by the break of day one rehearsal where we took a break. Let's pretend the rehearsals say 5 hours. At the 2.5 hour, we took a break. Everybody walks outside. I called the manager in New York and said, I don't think I'm the right fit here. I'll honor the shows that I'm booked on, but if you can get me out of some of them, that's great. If you can't, don't worry about it. I know that the first one's coming up really soon, so that's out of the question. Of course, I'm here. I'm going to do this, but I think there's a person that might be better suited. And, that was just a diplomatic way of me saying, I didn't like being there.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I was a great fit musically, but just personality wise, I had sort of I'd stumbled into something that I was like, wow, I just didn't like the way that the vibe was. And so I pulled myself out of it. I did the one gig that was actually on a crazy cruise. So and we were the headline act, and then it was out. They found somebody else. But I mean, I've been in LA now for 18 years, and that's only happened once.
Well, that's good.
So
well,
yeah.
I mean, you are a very lovable guy, so it's like,
you flirt, you.
we had so much fun in Florida.
Yeah, we did.
Maybe we'll do an after hours podcast of all the stuff.
Yeah,
all the Applebee's that we got into.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like there's the session thing. Your question really can come down to what's it like to navigate personalities? Because every situation you're in, if you're not the one in charge, someone is, and the way they communicate to you and what they want you to do, and it can be off-putting. It can be something that you're not into, or some people are just dry and go, that was a shitty take, let's get a better one. And you're like, you have to not take that shit personally. You can't, maybe that's just the way they are, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean by navigating. Like, there is a skill set involved in being able to roll with punches and still, keep your head in the game and play to your best of your ability and not be pissed off because the guy didn't like what you did, and you think it was great, but they're like, no, try again, I mean, the worst thing that you can hear on a session is somebody that pushes the talk back and says, so, you need to take a 5-minute break? Are you okay? Could get you water? What, you need a water right there? Or,
So have you?
You're like, shit. Like,
has that happened to you?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can get flustered. The thing about sessions too, I mean, or rehearsing, I think there's a sweet spot in how many times you do something. And there's a point at which point you're now playing the same song for the 11th, 12th, 20th time. And now you're not playing with your heart anymore. You're just trying to remember all the new things.
Sure.
Think about playing a song on any instrument and someone goes, that was great. This time in the first chorus, the last bar, before we go to the second verse, I want you to do this. You go, okay, I got it. It's just one thing, right? So you do it again. He goes, okay, so that's great. Listen, in the bridge, instead of doing what you're doing now, at every time you do that take, they add one more thing. Sure. And eventually, you either implode or you go, okay, I got and so you have to deal with stuff like that all the time. Not in every session, but they come by, they happen. And yes, there are times where you're like, I feel like I'm not being musical anymore. I feel like I'm being more technical. I'm trying to hit all the bullet points and all the markers, And so sometimes you can get into a session where you're more of a marionette at that point. Someone
Sure.
doesn't really know what they want, but now that you're there and the drums are set up, they're going to try 20 different things. And so,
Sure.
that falls under the thing of pre-production. And you always hope that somebody does a little bit of that homework. You want input artistically from the person that you're hiring, because that's why you hired them. But you also want to push them in the right direction as much as you can, because then you're going to get what you want. But sometimes you get in the studio and they don't know what they want yet. They know they want you, but they don't really know what they want. And then that can get frustrating, And so the art form is to not, jam a drumstick in your own eye socket and and stomp off and have an attitude.
Yeah.
You got to be able to you got to have thick skin. You got to be able to interpret what someone might want when they say purple.
Sure.
Yeah.
So have you ever had a moment where like you finish a take and you're just like, Jesus Christ, that was, wow, I've played better than that, and then they come over the speaker like, that was great.
Yeah, sometimes. I still hear, I think, it's common. I still hear things where I think, oh man, I could have done something way better that made sense with the vocal or, whatever. Like, the second guessing thing, because recording is such a photograph, that's it. Like once you're done, it's like, then even the next day it's too late.
Yeah.
It's done. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure sometimes when you're just getting hired to do that. When it's your own band, it's like, there's this organic thing and like, hey, and most likely you're recording together in a room, whereas a lot of session work is not like that. It's pieced together, methodically, starting with drums. That's the challenging
You're the one
part
playing the demo.
You're playing to the demo, and then how do you know that the drum fill that you're playing isn't going to step all over a vocal that you're not hearing yet? Or they may change, or the chord, you play a shot, but that shot disappears
Right.
after. You have to worry about shit like that. So, yeah, it can be frustrating, but, the beautiful thing about recording is that, wow, now you're on a timestamp of someone's musical journey forever. Like it's amazing. Like if you do feel good about what you played, then there's nothing like that feeling. But you're right. Sometimes, I've played. Sometimes the most simple thing is what's right, anyways. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge is to play for the song, not what will impress my drummer friends.
Right.
That goes for obviously live as well. It's the restraint factor is always in gear when you're playing. You want to play, the best thing you can for, if it's the singer, if it's a solo artist, you don't want to trash all over there because you're playing some amazing Neil Peart drum fill. I'm just saying, right? Like you can do it and we've all seen it happen, but we all know like, oh, come on. Like, okay, your 3 drummer friends in the crowd, their brains just exploded, but everyone else hates it. Like you're appealing to the wrong audience at that point.
That's why I've always loved that picture. As drummers, we've all seen this, but it'll be the picture of like the Neil Peart kit, and it just says hobbyist above it, and then it's like underneath, it's like just a regular like 4-piece like jazz kit, and
like
it's like 4 drums, and it just says working, professional drummer.
It's true, absolutely, for sure, eh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You love drum solos, don't you, Randy?
I do not. Thank you for asking. I only don't like them. Listen, I love other people's drum solos. That's what I love. I love like hearing like brilliant drum solos. I just, I didn't grow up working on that part of my playing. So even though I can fake my way through one, the whole time I'm in my head going, man, like there's these 20 other dudes that could just like really do this right, and they should like let's let them do it. Like maybe I could just run off stage and get my friend to jump on and play the drum solo.
Touche.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I know that they serve a purpose. I just think it's odd when musicians leave one guy by themselves on stage, like conceptually. But I know that in rock, it's like that's what it's about. There's that moment, that drum solo moment, and I've done it. Like on the Ian Gillan tour, Ian knew that about me. He knew that I had to really be in the mood, and feeling it to play a solo. So at one point in the same song, every night on tour, he would turn back to me at a pivotal moment where that song off a chord hang would either go into a solo or not, and he'd just look back at me, and I'd either go or this. And if I said no, he would jump in and sing the last part of the song. And that's it. There'd be no drum solo.
Awesome.
It was so nice. It was so sweet. And so online, if you fish around, I'm not going to tell you where, but there's a solo online on the Ian Gillan tour.
I'll post it in the chat. I found it.
Please don't. I beg you.
RandyCooke.com/Ian Gillan.
/drum solos. Yeah.
Righteous. Dude, hey, where are we at on time right now? Because
We're at
Long.
120.
We're long.
We're at 123.
We're 123, dudes.
Hour 23.
Okay, well, I definitely want to power through a couple more.
All right, I'm here. Lights are set up.
Absolutely. And ones that y'all, TJ and Robin, ones that y'all really want to like dig in.
What is all?
I don't know. Is it this digging? Like, imagine you're making a turkey burger and you're digging in the meat.
Ow, it hurts. Ow. What are you doing?
I've gotten really good at cooking. I made some incredible one pork chop tonight. Anyway,
I don't want to know about you pork in your dinner.
I made a Jamaican chicken curry yesterday.
Ooh, that sounds delightful.
So good. Unbelievable.
Delightful.
Dude.
I love it. One of my favorite foods.
Not to interrupt Zach here, but just to take a short little like non-musical sidetrack.
Sure.
You don't say.
You've traveled around the world. What's like one of the best like places that you've ever been where you've had like the best food?
Ooh, that would be either Italy or Jamaica. Yeah. But again, that all depends. That's subjective. It's what's your favorite.
Well, yeah,
food.
but I mean for you.
Like, you can go into the smallest little cafe in Italy and it's stupid how because everything is made on site. They've made their own bread, they've made their own pasta, they've made their own sauce. Everything is from scratch. So the most simple, marinara pasta with a piece of bread and the wine they made, the bread they made, the pasta they made, the sauce, everything is from scratch. So yeah, it's stupid. And Jamaican food, I grew up loving Jamaican food. So there is just ain't nothing like curries in Jamaica. It's so good. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that.
And I see that's why really the only reason I learned to make it was because it's hard to find here.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought, fuck it, I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole and make my own curries. So yeah.
Thank you for taking me down that sidetrack. Now I'm really hungry.
It's good.
I was just gonna say Robin's favorite food is mac and cheese from Applebee's.
It's not. It was delicious.
I was gonna say clearly you guys have never been to Chili's.
It is.
Don't diss on mac and cheese,
dude,
man.
I don't know what it was about that apple. Like,
Maybe it was not that great.
Maybe I was having like a surreal experience. I was like overly tired or something, but it was fucking good. But no, my favorite food is tortellini with pesto. It's Italian food. Like
pesto, love pesto. That's really.
I had to learn how to make my own because I was
very simple too to make. Very simple, but as long as you use fresh organic ingredients, boom, you're good to go.
As Emerald would say, bam.
Yeah, bam. Yeah.
Brought to you by Whole Foods.
Right, exactly. Whole paycheck.
Dude, the best. Like every time I go to Whole Foods and try to find my pesto, it's always gone. It's always out. And they jacked the price like 6 months ago. It went from like $7.85 or something to like $10. Again,
this is
now we're gonna buy my own.
We need another food-based podcast.
It needs to happen.
Yeah.
So cooking with rock detention.
Food detention.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we're gonna really go through we're gonna blow through these.
Go. I'm ready.
It could be Randy cooking. With
right.
My God.
All right, Steve Stevens, go. What was your affiliation?
We did a gig for NAMM. He just put a band together to do a bunch of covers and originals, and it was for a show at NAMM, and we rehearsed a bunch, and it was fucking crazy because one of the tunes he picked, don't even ask me for the name of it. But all I remember was there were bars of 5 and bars of 7, and Steve even at one point was in rehearsal going, why the fuck did I pick this song? But it was like super challenging. Like it was fun. Once we had it down, it ripped. And so we did a gig off-site at the NAMM. It wasn't at the NAMM. It was like in a club off-site for NAMM. So yeah, that's my Steve Stevens story. Super great. I mean,
wait a minute. Was it at that same club where they always do the Randy Rhoads Remembered?
I don't know. The outside of it looked like the Washington that
yes.
The pillar. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's a
Yeah.
great venue.
It was amazing, right? Right.
Cool beans.
Super cool.
Did y'all play the Top Gun theme?
What?
Did y'all play the Top Gun theme?
No.
Okay, I don't know. He played the guitar on it.
What happened?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Steve
You're
Stevens
correct.
did the Top Gun anthem.
Correct.
Yes, we didn't do that though.
Okay, I was about to be so embarrassed.
With Harold Faltermeyer or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of NAMM, Randy, have you ever played the John Bonham tribute?
I have not actually. All my friends have. Why have I never done the Bonham tribute?
I've never done it either. So
I have some my favorite Bonham. Of course, I say my favorite. I know it's every drummer's favorite is "Fool in the Rain," but that's just like the sweetest groove ever in life.
So good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah, crazy.
Zach, back to you.
Go.
And we're blowing. Phil X.
Don't blow.
Okay. This guy, I want to be best friends with him. He seems like the coolest mofo. Is it true?
Of course, he's the coolest mofo because he's from Toronto.
Oh, I didn't know he was Canadian. I watch his videos on the internet, and he just seems like someone you want to be best friends with.
Yeah, it's like, wow, yeah, and he can shred, right? He's
absolutely
he's really good.
And
sings his ass off. Yeah.
What was your affiliation with Phil?
Well, I mean, Phil and I go back decades and decades and decades. Like from Toronto, we played together in cover bands, his own cover band at one point. And then here, I've played and recorded a bunch for his band, The Drills. So I've done, and I've toured with Phil as well in The Drills. So yeah, so I've done tons of stuff with him. Yeah.
Is it true? I think he lives in Nashville now, correct?
He just moved back. So now he's in California, back here.
Oh,
yeah.
Shucks, I missed him.
Yeah.
Looks like we'll have to take a trip to California.
Is he still touring with Bon Jovi?
Yeah, he's Bon Jovi's guitar player.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if he was still with them. I didn't know. I thought he was, but yeah.
Last I heard, he's still crushing that gig. Yeah.
Dude,
they're touring coming up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, dudes. I'm just listening to this podcast, just being here, like as an outsider listening in. I'm so intrigued to go back to LA. Seriously.
Well, I love it. I'm not gonna
do it, Zach.
I can't lie. I dig it for sure.
I don't know, man. This is it's crazy. All right, Hans Zimmer.
Hans
Zimmer.
I
was
the
movie guy.
A movie guy.
The movie guy.
You told us to remind you about this for a reason.
It was really good because I wanted to tell you how crazy the session got in a great way that I didn't expect. I was recommended to Hans by one of the violinists that he works with that knows me from the Dave Stewart camp. So I got a call one day to go do a session, and I actually didn't know at the time what it was going to be for. When I got there, I'm not even sure I knew on the session what it was going to be for, but it ended up being the opening scene to one of the Spider-Man movies.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Right. And
thanks, Robin.
I had a cartage guy, in advance of me showing up, bring my drums and set them up, and they had done all the sound checking. So I show up at Sony Studios, and the room that I'm recording in is where they typically record orchestras. So it's massive. It's like half a football field. Like, it's ridiculously huge. And there's one drum kit and nothing. Like, it's just out there. And I walk into the session, and the control room is massive, and the control room is tiered like a cabaret theater, right? Tiered in terms of levels. And there's got to be 12 people, like rows, 3, 4, 3 people, and Hans at the board with his assistant, and everybody's in front of laptops and workstations. And I don't know what's happening because I'm the only musician recording that day, or that block of time, that couple of hours. And so he plays a little bit for me in the studio, the control room, and it's like a sort of a upbeat, like rock kind of like, and he just wants me to go out and play, just play to it. Just go out, just play. So out I go, and we do a bunch of passes where, okay, try again this time, more drum fills, play more, play busier, okay, play. So he gets a dozen takes like that, and I'm good. I'm done in under a half hour. And he says, are you in a hurry to get out of here? And I said, no, not all. I go, okay, grab your sticks, come over to the piano. And there's a grand piano way over to the left, and I see guys running around getting mics positioned, and I'm thinking, like, I don't play piano, and B, he says bring your sticks. Like, I have zero idea what's going to happen. So he brings me over to the piano, he sits down, he goes, okay, guys, lift the lid. So the grand piano, it gets the lid lifted, and he goes, dun dun dun, he hits a key, dun dun, a note, dun 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 dun. He goes, can you see the hammer? And I go, yeah. So he goes, you see the strings the hammer's hitting? I go, yeah. He goes, can you play? Do you think you can lean over into the piano and play 16th notes on the string? And as you know, pianos, each note is 3 strings, right? And so in a very thin, the hammer hits the strings, and he goes, can you see the note? Dunk, dunk, dunk. I go, yeah. So he goes, okay, I want you to play 16ths, just straight 16ths on that one note. So I'm leaning into the piano. He goes, see the note? Yeah, okay, ready. Give him click. And I start playing. And he's got his foot on the damper pedal, and he's undampening and dampening the note randomly. So it's going, and I get like 4 bars of that. And he goes, okay, great. Dunk, 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 dunk. You see the note? I go, yeah. He goes, ready. And what he had me doing was building chords, but each note he was randomly dampening and undampening that note. By the time the chord, 5, 6, 7 notes thick, all the dampening effect made it sound like a swarm of bees, but rhythmically, like, but the chord has this organic, bizarre thing to it, and you can hear that if you listen in that theme. You can hear what sounds like the most bizarre rhythmic, like, I can't, that's the only way I can describe it. It's like a bee swarm. Like, it's bizarre. And you know, the guy's a genius. What can I tell you? I never would have thought to try that. And that was, you know, an incredible, my back was killing me, but
Sure.
it was worth it. And I'm bending, you know, like, you know, to do 2 chords even of 7 notes each, of 4 bars each, of each note, 16 notes, you know, my head's in this piano for another half hour, right?
That is unreal. That is so
cool.
Who would have thunk to done something
not
like
me.
that?
Hans, that's who.
That's
Gar.
pretty cool.
And did you hear this particular thing in the movie?
Yeah, it's mixed back, but you can I recognize it because I know it's in the intro. It's the very intro, the scene where he's swinging through the streets, the very opening scene. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a video and I'm gonna text it to you. And if you could just give me the time code so I can go and listen,
Right.
that sounds incredible.
Right.
That kind of stuff blows my mind. You know,
Mine
kind of
too.
like the Beatles. You know, whenever they do hand claps, they wore rubber gloves.
Right.
Who would have thunk
No, I
that
know.
it adds that dynamic to it?
I know. That tonality, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That stuff really, I love that. Thank you for telling
That's
that.
cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry
so
for
cool.
my jaw. I had to cover my. I'm very easy
This
to
whole
impress.
episode has just been
Then I'm your
repeated
man.
jaw-dropping moments.
Absolutely. All right, back to blowing. All right.
That's what she said.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So Billy Ray Cyrus. Now you know our bandmate,
Daniel.
Mr. Daniel Knight.
Yeah.
I think he's slapping a bass
He
with.
does
No.
slap it. He plays
Guitar.
He's another multi-instrumentalist. Just
What is he
like
with Billy
Robin.
Ray?
Guitar.
Oh, he's guitar with Billy
Yeah.
Ray. Okay.
But I didn't play with Billy when Daniel played with Billy. And
Okay.
Like we didn't play at the same times. Yeah. I got pulled in by Justin Andres, another multi-instrumentalist, bass player, guitar player, great singer, and he was already working with Billy. And if my memory serves correct, we did one little gig somewhere. I know we did some recording, and I did a video. Where he redid Achy Breaky Heart hip hop.
Really?
And it was produced by Damien Elliott, that same guy that had introduced me to my Moscow buddies. That band, by the way, is Red Lad, one word. And so yeah, Damon was in cahoots with Billy, and but it was fun. Billy's such a great guy. Like within seconds of meeting him, he's like, "Where are you from?" You know, like he's always really interested in you and like sincerely, like
Dude.
super cool guy to hang out with.
I have never, and I know I've met multiple people that know him and or worked with him and have nothing but amazing things to say.
And I
Zach,
support that.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool guy.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. Wait, why are you? Next up on the blow
I was
list.
gonna say what's there's a connect.
Nah, dude.
Okay.
Nah, dude. All right, here we go. Alanis Morissette.
Last Morissette. In Toronto, I did 3 days of demo recording at a studio downtown Toronto. What was cool about this session was Alanis was just going to do, it was for songwriting. It was for her to get out ideas just to have them recorded. So
Sure.
what they did was they just started running ADAT machines, and like those machines ran all day. So Alanis was on grand piano. She was on grand piano, and my friend Tom was on. Scott was on upright bass, and I was on drums. We're in 3 separate little areas of the studio, and she would just go, "Okay, Randy, just start a loop," and I would just my own tempo, whatever, and she would start playing quarter note chords on the piano and just start singing. Like making up lyrics. And we did that. She did that. We'd take a break. We'd come back. Sometimes Scott would start something on bass. Sometimes she would start something. She would predict the tempo and the feel. But she would just stream of consciousness, just be singing. Sometimes words and sometimes just syllables, you know.
Sure.
And it was crazy fun because that's all we did for 3 days straight. Yeah.
Wow. What year was this?
1902.
1902.
It was before. So it would have been. It was between her first and second CD. So it was right after the success of her first CD.
Right on.
Yeah.
Is that Jagged Little Pill?
Jagged Little Pill. Yeah, that
Okay.
was number 1. Yeah.
Do you by any chance know Jason Orme?
Of course. Jason has played with Five for Fighting. Yeah.
Did not know that. Okay,
Yeah,
so I know him through Vegas.
So good. In
Small
fact,
world.
I think in my Insta feed, if you go back a little bit and find a Five for Fighting live clip, Jason is actually the guitar player on that.
Dude,
clip.
he is a monster, and he is a tone junkie.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, right.
gosh, love
So
his
good.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right
yeah,
on.
He's amazing, and a nice guy too.
I want to skip down to Olivia Rodrigo because you told us a really crazy story earlier, and I think the world needs to hear that.
It's a funny story. I did, much like many of the credits and recordings I do. I don't really know where they're going to land or who they're for in the first place. Sometimes songs are just written by a writer or a producer, and they haven't found a home yet. They haven't actually found a singer yet. You know, even if at the time I was playing this demo, I don't think I knew who it was going to be for anyways. So I get tracks emailed to me. I make my little notes up here, right here at this desk. Then I drive over to the studio and I do a bunch of takes and I email the drums off. And that happened for one particular demo one day. And about a year later, I'm sitting around and Noelle says, she has her phone. She goes, "I think this is you. This song. Is this you?" And I go, I hear her 2 seconds. I go, "No, it's not me. I don't know." She goes, "Wait, just listen again. Listen some more. That's you. I think that's you. Is that you?" I go, No, I'm telling you, that's definitely not me. Not me." She goes, "Look, can you just check your email and type the title of the song into your email?" Because she knows that if I played on a song, I would have, invoiced, and that title would be on the invoice. It would be in the email subject, maybe even, who knows.
Sure.
Fuck, sure enough, man. I come upstairs, and I go, "I found it. It's yeah, I think I did." She goes, I remember. She remembered hearing it through the speakers, the melody and the song, and and so I texted. I didn't want to, even when I'd seen the title in my own email, I was like, I should text the producer. I should text the guy. So I text him. I go, "Olivia Rodrigo, this tune. Is that me?" He goes, "Yeah." Right. Great job.
That is too cool.
I'm like, Well, that's cool. So we find, look down his Insta feed, and he's already got a platinum award for it. So yeah, it's really cool to see. So what I did was, I always videotape my sessions, whether I post or not, just for posterity, just in case. And I found the video of me doing that song, and I picture in picture took her video and jammed it in, and so you could see me playing to that ballad. Yeah.
Dude,
It's a
Robin,
great song.
can we put a link to that?
Yeah, I'll find it. I believe it's actually. So I went and listened to it today, and I didn't know this. I didn't know anything about Olivia Rodrigo except for the few songs that I've heard from her.
Sure.
She's, if I'm correct, I may be wrong on this, but at least what iTunes makes you believe, or Apple Music, she's from the High School Musical, like the series that they started.
Yes, absolutely.
And so that song was in the show. That's not like on like her like album. It's like a part. It's like the show soundtrack.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful ballad. And I was just
ballad.
like,
beautiful song, and she sang the shit out of it.
yeah, she did.
Yeah.
It's great, dude. I just think that's so cool, man. That has not happened to me yet, and I look forward to the day
that
it does.
Is that
All right.
me?
Yeah, and I think it's super cool that for those Noelle, I take it that is your lady, correct?
Yeah.
Righteous. I think that's so cool that she knows your style.
Like,
you know,
I have a hard time with that. Like, I doubt, we're all self-depreciating in certain ways as musicians. We're like, oh, you're great, I suck. You're great, I suck. But she heard it. She not only remembered the melody of the tune. That's what freaks me out, is that I don't remember the TV show I watched yesterday. So let alone a song that you heard once or twice over
from
a couple of
downstairs.
days. Right? Yeah, that's true.
That's love, man. I like that.
That's totally cool.
Gar. Let's see here, man. I always feel like we just need to have a part 2, guys.
Let's do a part 2. I mean, we'll come back, and you can go back. You can dive back into the list, and we can tell more stories about the how and the why and the where and the whens.
We'll have to get Dave and Daniel on here, and they'll have stories with
sure.
all 3 of y'all together.
Oh my God, for sure.
Do we have that
Sounds
technology?
like a great, terrible.
What do you mean that we have that technology?
Can we get 2 other people on the screen? Like we have that? Okay, dude. I don't know,
right,
Mr.
right.
No camera for the first 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Hey, I had camera. You just couldn't see it because Skype was being weird.
All right, brown paper bag special. Good Lord. Wow. Randy, this was a blast. I love you. I
love
glad
you
I
guys.
met you. And thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Seriously.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Robin. Thanks, TJ. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
We're gonna do this again.
Absolutely.
Nice. I'm down. Let's do it.
Hang tight for the outro.
And for all of you who tuned in, thank you so much. 2022, we are back. Did I say that right? 2022. Yes, that's where we are.
Yeah.
Get ready for a jam-packed year. We're gonna have a lot of great guests, a lot of past guests back on that we want to have part 2s with. We're super stoked. Have a blessed week. Thanks for rocking. TJ,
Nice.
after you.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Randy, thanks for coming on. I don't know how we're gonna top Randy as a guest. I mean, that's how we start 2022. So I don't know how we're gonna get another episode in, let alone end the year. I don't know, but starting on a high note. Thanks again, and cheers, guys. Love y'all.
Thanks.
Tune in.
Love you back.
Over to you, Robin.
Randy, we had fun in Florida, and now we had fun on a podcast. This is
we did.
We all need to just go to LA and hang out.
I miss you already.
So-
Come
it's-
anytime. Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably gonna see you or talk to you in 2 hours, but
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will.
But for those watching, thank you so much. Follow us on Instagram, specifically Instagram, because that's where we tend to post the most. But we're probably not going to be doing every week. We're going to try to line up as many guests as we can, but we'll if you want to know when we're going live, we're going to post that on Instagram. So please follow us there and keep in touch with us. And if you've got suggestions for people that you want on here, please let us know. Because we want to talk to everybody. This is just fun and everything. So, but as for tonight, class dismissed.
Is this thing still on?
Yes, and actually, I forgot to say, for those of you wondering, the red light
Oh,
was
God.
on my Nerf guns in the corner. They're yes,
Oh, I love
they're
so awesome.
they're Nerf guns,
For
fully
none
automatic.
of you wondering.
Is it still on?
I'm killing the feed right